where they're in a hurry to make the time, we're going to take our time so that we can fully explain how to do these things. In the equation above, they want to know what the value of x is. This is a basic algebra problem. They want to know if you can combine the right stuff. We can combine x's with x's, we can combine numbers with numbers. We can't combine x's and numbers. So I've got 3x, and then 1, 2, 3, so I have 6x. Minus 3 and minus 2 can be combined. So that's negative 5. 7 doesn't combine with these. And I've got 2 x's. Now I need to get all my x's on one side, all my numbers on the other side. So I'll subtract 2x. 4x minus 2x, 6x. My 5 comes down, my equals comes down, my 7 comes down. Now I need to get my numbers on the other side, so I'll add 5, add 5, now I need to divide by 4. Now, you have to be really careful to make sure that what you got is what they're actually asking for. So they want to know what x is. Sometimes they'll do something tricky, like ask you what 2x is, or x minus y, or something that's not what you solved for. So in this case, they want x. Number 2, the graph above shows the distance traveled d in feet by a product on a conveyor belt m minutes after the product is placed on the belt. Which of the following equations correctly relates d and m? So we don't have to do any math at all on this one. We just have to understand how to properly set up an equation. So what they're really asking about here is for us to notice this. That means that our line goes through the origin. It hits right at the x and y axis. That means it varies directly. The math tests really like stuff that varies directly. If it varies directly, that means the y-intercept is 0. So our slope-intercept equation is y equals mx plus b. b is our y-intercept, and since it goes through the origin, it's 0. So I know it's not this one or this one, because that has a y-intercept of 2, that has a y-intercept of 2. So now we got to figure out, is it this one or this one? The number in front of the m is our slope. It's kind of confusing that slope is m here, that's your slope-intercept equation, and here x is actually m. So just have to deal with that. Now the way you figure out slope is rise over run. So you subtract your y's on top, subtract your x's on bottom. So in this case, it went over 1 and went up 2. So my slope is 2 over 1. All right, for number 3, the formula below is often used by project managers to compute E, the estimated time to complete a job, where O is the shortest completion time, P is the longest completion time, and M is the most likely completion time. Which of the following correctly gives P in terms of E, O, and M? So right here what they're asking for is P in terms of everything else. What that really means is they want me to have P equals something. So I need to rearrange this until I've got P by itself. Now, E, O, and M don't look like it, but they're numbers. So just like we can add numbers to both sides, we can subtract numbers from both sides, we can multiply both sides by the same number. I can add E to both sides, I can divide both sides by a letter. Alright, so we need to move this around until P is by itself. First rule of ugly fractions, multiply everything by the bottom. So if I multiply this side by 6 and this side by 6, these two cancel out. So now I don't have an ugly fraction anymore. It's p plus o and 4n. Since I'm adding on these, I can subtract from both sides. Minus o minus 4n, and then I have to do it on this side too. These two cancel out, my p comes down. E's, o's, and m's don't mix, so I'm just going to write them next to each other. And 6e minus o minus 4n. It's going to be a. Alright, so number 4. In the figure above, RT equals TU. What is the value of x? A couple things we need to know on this one. 180 degrees in a triangle. 180 degrees in a line. So if there's 180 degrees in a line, this is going to equal 180 minus 114. So we know what this is, we know what this is, now we can know what this angle is. This angle will be 180 minus 31 minus the 66 they said RT and TU are equal. So that means that this is an isosceles triangle and this angle are equal. I'm sure that's important. So if this is 114, for this triangle, 180 minus 114, that means I've got 66 degrees left for my triangle between this angle and this angle. So if I divide that by 2, this is 33 degrees, this is 33 degrees. Another thing that we need to know for this vertical angles. It just means I have two lines that cross. My two lines that cross, this side is going to be equal to this side. The reason that's helpful is because we figured out what this angle is, so that means this angle is 83. So now, to figure out this angle, it's going to be 180 minus 83 minus the 33 so x is going to be 64. Alright, number 5. The width of a rectangular dance floor is W feet. The length of the floor is 6 feet longer than its width. Which of the following expresses the perimeter in feet of the dance floor in terms of W? Every time you can draw it, you should draw it. So it's a rectangular dance floor. And my width is W. And my length is 6 feet longer than the W. So it's the width plus 6. Now that you've drawn it, it's pretty easy to answer this. I don't have any W squareds going on here. Perimeter means I'm adding. If I was doing area, I would be multiplying, and then I would have squared. A lot of their answer choices come from making common mistakes. So now that we've drawn it out, we've got 2 lengths and 2 widths, and if I add up all my W's, I have 4 W's. If I add up the 6's, I've got 12. Continuing in the next video,